author of the new book, American Grit, and the host of the Finding Better podcast. John Suzuki's passion is to inspire people and help them achieve the better they want in life by sharing real life experiences and wisdom of his own and other insightful people so that folks can apply those learning to their own lives. And John has been happily married for 38 years and has two kids, two grandkids, and third one is on her or his way, and believes we all have three careers to learn, earn, and return. So, having retired in 2022 after his 40-year career in high tech, John is focused on his third career of giving back and is a retired paraglider pilot, an avid tuna fisherman, and a five-dan karate sensei. And his wife says he's like a dog with squirrels. Squirrel. So, as we prepare to delve into our conversation on the topic at hand, Beyond Grit, Unleashing Epic Successes and Personal Empowerment with John Suzuki, here's an exciting twist. Let us tickle his brain first. So, John, get ready for a rapid fire round of random words. I'll mention a few and I would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. If you're ready, let's get started.
Okay.
Right. Good. Let's get the ball rolling. Here comes the first bullet. Curiosity.
A lost muscle.
Lost muscle. Invention.
Thomas Edison. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough.
Future.
Exciting and full of opportunities.
Book.
Book. My book, To Educate and Inspire.
Movie.
Denzel Washington, my favorite actor.
Denzel Washington. And then aliens.
Aliens. Potential great friends, potential scary people, things.
Universe.
The universe. Love.
Leadership.
If you don't sincerely care about people, forget it.
Awesome. Love it. Role model.
My ultimate role model is Jesus Christ.
And the last one is success.
The harder I work, the luckier I get.
Amazing. I love your thought process. And John, thank you so much for participating in the first rapid fire round. And there is one more rapid fire round towards the end. And before I officially welcome you to the show, let me welcome the audience. So, folks, you have tuned into the Guiding Voice podcast series where we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place through valuable discussions that add value not only to your life, but also to your career. And thank you so much for tuning in. John, hearty welcome to TGV. How are you today?
I'm great. Good seeing you again, Naveen.
Same here, John. And let's get started with your success mantra. So please share the top three things that have contributed to your success so far.
The top three things that have contributed to my success. First is hard work. I work hard. I think hard work is a gift, and I outwork most people. And I find that the harder I work and the more I work, the more I learn. And in terms of what I need to do to be successful. So the second one I'll say is care. One of the values, I guess, that I have lived my entire life with is they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Wow. And, our world is all about people. It's all about people. And leadership and management starts with truly caring about your people and your clients. So I'd say that the second one is care. And the third one is I've always felt that it was really important to invest in myself. And I think that the greatest investment you can ever make is in yourself, in learning. And especially in today's world, which is just changing every day. You have to stay current. You have to stay competitive. And investing in yourself allows you to continue to evolve. I mean, nobody knows, especially with artificial intelligence, what the world's going to look like in even 6 months, let alone 2 or 3 years. So anyway, I'd say that those would be three good ones.
Wonderful. And John, your journey has spanned 4 decades in technology, evangelism, and also corporate sales, right? So can you share a pivotal moment that propel you from merely participating in the industry to becoming a passionate advocate for change and betterment in both personal life as well as business?
Yeah. Okay. So before I retired, I spent the last 18 years of my career in the vacation rental industry. Where
Mm,
people could rent their own houses for people going on vacation. And it used to be years and years ago, and this was back in 2007, 2006, even up until 2010. The service wasn't an online service. You could not go to Expedia, you could not go to Airbnb or any of those places. It was literally a directory service. And so we decided to or transform that business into an e-commerce marketplace,
hmm.
which is kind of like, taking a directory. Here in the United States, we used to have the yellow pages, and these used to just be a bunch of pages, right? And you look it up and you look at vacation rentals, and that's what it was online. And to change that to a full e-commerce marketplace, it was nothing short of revolutionary. The problem that we had, and your readers might know a book called The Innovator's Dilemma.
Right.
And what that book is about is making massive, massive changes. And the dilemma is that you want to work with your customers, but at the same time, when you make huge, huge changes, you can't bring them along because they don't understand the changes that you're going to make.
Yeah.
And so we made massive, massive changes. And the problem was that we didn't communicate them, and
Mm,
we thought we did, but we didn't. And so I got involved, and that's when my role changed to a technology evangelist. And my job was to get out into the industry and to inform and inspire and let these people know what was going on. And I personally visited 23 states to meet with a whole bunch of these people to let them know that we are not their enemy. We are not there to put them out of business, but we are there to help and bring their business into the 21st century. And once we did that, and it was all, they didn't care. They didn't think we cared about them because we weren't communicating. And so I would say that again, care and communication are huge, and that's not just for customers. That's for your people. That's for your superiors. That's for your family. That's for everybody, right? And later on, I was credited by the president of our company of having saved that part of our business. And so, yeah, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun when you understand the importance of effective communication and showing people that you care.
John, let's move forward. So, leadership
Okay.
is often romanticized as well as glamorized, but it comes with a set of its own challenges, right? So, what is one lesson you have learned about leadership that you wish more aspiring leaders would understand early in their careers?
Early in their careers, first of all, management is assigned and leadership is earned. And I will say this, and I keep going back to this. They say that great leaders surround themselves with people better than you,
Yeah,
right? But people better than you won't come to you unless they know that you care about them. And you're caring about their best interests, and you're caring about their careers, and you care about their aspirations. And so that's one thing that people learn later in life, because they're managers and they're leaders and they're directing people and they're telling people what to do. Yeah, show that you care,
yeah,
because if you don't care, just forget it.
got it, got it.
No, and it is one of those things.
Right.
You want people to commit themselves to you.
Hmm.
You want them to commit themselves to what you're trying to accomplish. And if there's a lot of leaders out there that don't share the kind of care I'm talking about,
True.
and you can always be successful. You can always be successful, but you're not going to reach the level of success that you could reach as a leader,
Yeah,
if you're not leading in a way that people want to follow you,
yeah,
right? You can force people to follow you, but it's so much more fun, and it's so much more. It's just better for everybody if when they know that you care about them.
yeah. And when it comes naturally, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can't force care. Exactly, Naveen. You cannot force care. Yeah,
Amazing, amazing. And John, you also talk about the real power of self empowerment, right? So, could you share a
yeah.
strategy or a mindset shift that has been crucial for you in maintaining self empowerment, especially during challenging times?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that is a huge question for me,
Yeah.
because that is, if you're to summarize why I do my podcast, This is it. Okay, so first of all, mindset shift.
Yeah.
Your life is your choice. Okay, and that is something that I honestly believe in, and a lot of people will tell me, John, you're wrong. I couldn't choose my parents, right? But I will say that your life today is the product of the choices that you've made.
Yeah.
And when people disagree with that, I say to them, you know, do you believe that your life in the future is going to be the sum of the decisions that you make from now on? And of course, everybody says yes. So if the future is true, the past has got to be true too. And so, for me, it's empowering people, helping people understand that it is your choice. Now, the biggest thing, and I'm working on a TED talk for this, and the TED Talk is called Reversing a Culture of Blame.
Hmm.
And in my experience, I have found that, especially these days, especially in the United States, everybody is blaming everybody else for their problems. And somebody else has to blame for the situations that people are in. And the thing is that when you blame people, when you blame other people or other things,
Hmm.
you're subjecting yourself to victimhood, because when you blame others, you are giving others your power to do something about it. And so for me, self-empowerment starts with taking responsibility for your situation. And my whole book is about the Japanese American concentration camps
Hmm.
here in the United States during World War II. And it's as much about the camps and the horrors of those camps as it was about the men who chose not to be victims, and they self-empowered themselves to join the United States Army, who put them in those camps to begin with, and went to war for their persecutors, and they ended up being among the most decorated war heroes in the history of the United States. So it's self-empowerment starts with you. And first of all, know it's your choice. And secondly, stop blaming,
Yeah.
period. And that's the and it's all
Superb.
good.
No, I loved your perspective. And shifting gears, and you have an interesting perspective on wealth, stating it's not in what you make, but what you keep. So, how has this philosophy impacted your approach to financial planning, both personally and also in advising others?
Yeah. Okay. So you have to, and I love this topic. You have two choices in terms of what you're going to do with your money. The first one is to surrender it, and the second is to defend it. And what I
Hmm.
mean by that is the whole world wants your money. Everybody wants your money. And I do call it surrender, because it's kind of it again, talk about a mindset shift, right? When you're spending your life making this money, and it's hard work. Well, who are you gonna are you gonna surrender it, or are you gonna defend it? So when I talk about uh, my my perspective on wealth,
Hmm.
it's wealth is not defined as what you make. There's lots of people, especially here in the United States, that make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, millions of dollars a year, but they spend more than they make.
Yeah.
So technically, they're broke. And
Yeah.
you look at these people, and there was a book back in the 1970s called The Millionaire Next Door. And this applies whether you're a millionaire or whatever, wherever you are in the country. Back then, it said that 80% of the people who look like millionaires, they drove new cars all the time, wore fashion clothes, jewelry, all those different kinds of things. Those people look like millionaires, but they were broke. On the other hand, 80% of people who were bona fide, genuine millionaires, you couldn't spot if your life depended on it, because they didn't look like millionaires. And so I decided back then that I was going to choose to be the latter. And now what that's led to, and I especially share this with young people, because the greatest advantage that you have in building wealth over time is time. And it's a compounding over time, where you end up saving a little bit of money consistently over and over and over, every month, every year, and investing that money and making a return on it. At the end of 30 years, you end up with a fortune.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so that strategy and that mindset, and now I'm in a place where I can be generous with my time, I can be generous with my money, and it worked.
Nice. I like it. And to repeat, the title of the book is The Millionaire Next Door. I'm going to read that for
Yes.
sure. And
Yes, and it's an old book. I think it was back in the it might have been in the
mm,
1960s,
oh,
but the principles of that book apply to everybody.
yeah,
Yeah.
indeed. And John, your mission of your podcast, Finding Better, right? It resonates with
Mhm.
a broad audience. So can you share a story or an insight from one of your episodes that particularly embodies this quest for better in life and business? Because my theme is also for a better career and life. It resonates so
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah. And I love this because there's so many parallels between what you do and what I do.
Yeah.
By far, the best episode, the most touching and moving episode was with a woman named Molly. And just my favorite song, one of my favorite songs of all time, is a song called from Whitney Houston called "The Greatest Love of All."
Oh. Mhm.
And in this episode, Molly talked about when she was 24 years old, she raced in the toughest horse race on planet Earth. And it's called the Mongol Derby. And this
Mm.
is it's 1,000-kilometer horse race across Mongolia,
Mhm.
racing on as many as 12 or 13 semi wild horses.
Mm.
And so this wasn't her horse. These are what are called feral horses, and so she raced in this. And she's 23 years old at the time in Mongolia, racing 1,000 kilometers. It's a 10 or 11 day race,
Yeah.
and on her ninth day, she got really sick from the water, from the food. And I guess they have connectivity in certain parts of Mongolia because she was able to get on Facebook. And she wanted to give up, and a couple of her friends said, "We're so proud of you. You're on this horse race." And she realized at this time of surrender that
Okay.
she wasn't a lazy person.
Mm.
And all her life, she hated herself because she looked at herself as a lazy person. And she realized at this moment that no lazy person could do what she was doing. And it was at that moment that she learned to love herself.
Mhm.
And going back to that song, The Greatest Love of All, learning to love yourself, it is the greatest love of all. And it changed her life. That realization that she loved herself changed her life. It changed her ability to love herself. And it opened her heart. It opened her heart not only to love herself, but to love others more openly. And that it changed her life, and now she's on an entirely different path. And for me, that it really is the greatest love of all. And learning to love yourself it's a life changer. It's a life changer. So yeah, that was you asked me for a story from one of my episodes. That was the most, I felt like that was the most touching and the most meaningful that we've
Yeah.
had so far.
I loved it and a great learning for me. So, John, we have had an incredible conversation so far, and it's time for us to kick off the second rapid fire round to add some more excitement and fun. Are you ready?
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Here comes the first bullet out of second rapid fire round. If you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
Give joy.
Give joy. Wow. Wow.
Be
Seriously,
someone's
wow.
light. Absolutely. I mean, it's we're all in this together,
Yeah,
right?
true.
Yeah.
True. And complete this phrase three times. Never have I ever.
Lived with regret. Never have I ever, in my last 45 years of life, stolen anything. Never in my life have I betrayed anybody.
Hmm. Good. Good to know that. And John, can you describe yourself in just one word?
Oh God, yes. Imperfect.
Oh my God! It takes guts to say that. It takes guts to say that. I really
Oh,
appreciate
I'm
it.
totally imperfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
No.
totally.
No. No. So that's your modesty. And John, what would you do using the anywhere door? I think you must be aware of Doraemon gadget anywhere door.
Where would I go? I'd go to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
To be reminded how small this world is. I think that would
Oh,
be really cool.
yeah, powerful. And what was your childhood prank about?
Instantly. Okay, so a friend of mine, I was sleeping over at a friend's house, and this guy, he farted. He had gas every night. when he was going to sleep. He had gas. And it was during Easter, and here in the United States we have Easter eggs. And he had these plastic Easter eggs, right? So he was going to catch a fart in one of these plastic Easter eggs, and we were going to sneak into his sister's room in the morning and pop this Easter egg fart right in front of her nose. And it was so much fun. And so the next morning I woke up and I just went, "Oh my God." And I woke up and I found the Easter egg right in front of my face. He had opened his fart right in front of my face, and oh, it was disgusting. Yeah, so that wasn't, unfortunately, that wasn't one that I did. That was one that I was a victim of. But if you ever wonder if farts last,
Yeah.
they last.
Funny one. And
Yeah.
here comes the last one for the rapid fire. What is one electronic gadget that you like to see or invent yourself?
I keep talking about care. I think it would be cool to have a kind of machine
Mm-hmm.
that would show folks the love that they have in their life and the people who love them. We live in such a harsh world now, and I mean, I'm the kind of person where 1,000 people can say nice things about me, but it's that one person that says something bad about me that I'm going to remember,
Yeah,
right?
true.
And a lot of people don't feel like they're loved. And so if we could create something, and maybe you and I can work on this, but if we could create something that shows the love that people have in their lives, I think it would help a lot of people.
True. I liked it, and I think there is a great message and a great reason underlying that. And I wish that
Yeah.
comes true. And that great.
Yeah. Yeah, they say that, a lot of people say that, when right before you die, you see you see your life flashing in front of you, right?
Right.
And I imagine that you see a lot of really great things flashing in front of you. So if we can create that machine, Naveen,
Hmm.
that allows people to see that, before they have to die, right? I think that would be wonderful. I think that'd be amazing.
Superb. I loved it, and thank you for participating in the second rapid fire round. Let's flip back to the mainstream. And
Okay.
in your efforts to lift the world one person at a time, can you
Yep.
share a transformation story that stands out to you where you witnessed or facilitated a significant change in someone's life?
Yes. His name was Eric.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when I was working and I was his mentor. And Eric came to me one day and he said, "John, I am so upset. I'm so upset because I didn't get the promotion I was looking for." And I said, "What happened?" And he went on this rant. And he said, "Well, I always suspected that my boss was a racist.
Mm-hmm.
But and she just kind of confirmed it." And I said, "Well, what happened?" She said, "Well, they chose somebody else to promote." And
Mm.
so I said, "Okay, so why did they promote that person?" "Well,
Yeah.
I don't know, because I don't think they're as good as me as an employee." And I said, "Is it possible that they did something that stood out?" "Well, yeah." "Is it possible that this person overall might be a better candidate than you?" "Well, yeah." So I asked them these series of questions, and every answer was, "Yeah, well, that is possible." And so at the appropriate time, I said, "Eric, stop. Snap out of it. Stop being a victim." And he
Yeah.
says, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "You're blaming others for not having received your promotion.
Yeah.
And you're saying that person's a racist, and that person's not as good as me, and that person is this, and I should have gotten it." Stop. Stop. Is it possible that that person got the promotion that you didn't get because they're more qualified than you?
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, it's possible." And so I told him, I said, "You know what? You got to stop whining. You got to stop whining. Take that crap out of your life. Stop blaming."
Yeah.
And, he did. And to my knowledge, he never played the victim card again. And he continued to progress with his career. And so, he was at that moment, he realized that he was disempowering himself by not taking responsibility. and he turned things around. It was really cool. It was really, really cool.
Good one, John. I loved it. And thank you for sharing that story. And I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation. And how is your experience being hosted on TGV, the guiding voice?
Oh well, my experience was wonderful. I mean, you asked amazing questions, and you certainly made me think. I love the format. I love the rapid fire, and I love what you're doing. I really do, because yeah, you're helping countless people. So thank you, and thank you for having me.
Pleasure to have you, John. And looking forward to hosting you again in the future. And I wish you all the best in everything that you do. Thank you once again for joining me.
Thank you, Naveen.
All right. So, friends, that was our episode with John Suzuki. And before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request. As always, in case if you haven't already subscribed to TGV, the Guiding Voice podcast, please subscribe from wherever you have tuned in, because subscribing keeps you updated on new episodes and you will be in the know of what is happening at TGV. And if you have enjoyed the conversation and found it useful, please share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who'd also like TGV, the guiding voice. So spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. Now let's hop into the trivia segment of today's episode. And today's trivia is about technology evangelism. So I'd like to talk to you about the early roots of technology evangelism. It traces its roots back to the 1980s, when Apple's Macintosh division employed evangelists to promote the Macintosh platform. And later on, community building has happened because technology evangelists often focus on building communities around products or platforms, fostering engagement, support, and also advocacy among users. And that also led to strategic influence, wherein technology evangelists play a strategic role in influencing product development by gathering feedback from users and also advocating for features or improvements based on market needs as well as trends. So that's it for today's episode. And folks, I would love to hear your feedback on what kind of I would like to hear the feedback on what part of the conversation you like the most and what kind of topics you would like me to cover in future. And also, if you have any interesting guest speaker suggestions, to let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome community. Would love to hear from you. So do not hesitate to share your ideas and also feedback either through our social media, or you can also email us at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com, for as in digit 4 and you as in letter U, and let's create content that resonates with you. I'm your host Naveen Samala, a lifelong learner, and my goal is to have impactful conversations that improve not only your life but also your career. Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember, the future holds great things because the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you in the next episode with another amazing guest.